Hello. So, welcome to my stream today. I'd like to welcome in Jake, Flymo, Brian. Good morning. Today we are going to look at ANYRAIL. Basically, I am just going to go through and show you how I use it to build a layout. So we'll go over to here. So basically this is where you need to come and get it from if you need to download it. You just click on this button, you download it. You can only use it on Windows only. It cannot be used on Mac or anything like that. Once you've downloaded it and installed it, you'll end up with an icon on your desktop like this. Once you open it up, you will end up with a screen like this. The best place to start off is on the settings page, just up here. Excuse me. So basically you can choose your size of layout up here. You normally start off with choosing your measurement system, so whether you're going to use centimeters, millimeters, inches in fractional units or decimal units. I use decimal units and inches. This current workspace that I have available here is 142 inches by 120 inches. You can tick this little box. This will give you a grid format out on your workspace. Underneath here there is a little number. In this number box here you can put in whatever size. So if you want, at the minute these are 6-inch squares, so if you wanted 1 foot squares you would put 12, and then that would give you your final workspace in grid points. I like to use 6-inch, not 60, 6-inch squares. So then once you've got your workspace, you can then move over to bring up your track libraries. Now, as you can see here, we have various different track libraries, and you can choose your various scales, O, S, HO for instance, and then you've got all the different manufacturers underneath each section. Today I'm going to do it in 00, and I'm going to use Pico, and I'm going to use code 75, and I'm also going to use code 100. Now as you can see, these are populated on the left hand side here. When you've normally started this, they will normally appear more along the lines of this. Now if you wish to move them around like I just did there, you can just grab the top bar here and it brings it out into a window. Once you've brought it out into the window, you can choose to have it inside the window, or you can move it over to the outside, and then once you're in this pane you can then choose up, down, left, right, wherever you wish to have it. So we'll start off with a couple of pieces of flexi track. In fact, no we won't. We'll start off with putting our baseboards in. So to do that, you come up to the insert tab at the top here, and there's a button here called add surface. You click on that, and then you click in 4 locations on the layout, and then you'll see that once you've done the 4 locations you are left with this one. To get rid of this, use your right click and that will get rid of it. To zoom in on where you're looking at like this, you have to hold your control button and zoom on your, or scroll I should say, on your scroll wheel. To move around once you're scrolled in, if you click your mouse wheel, you can move around, or you can right click and move the layout around. Now, when you're zoomed in like this, you can only move around within your workspace. So this area either side of here, you cannot access once you are zoomed into your workspace like this. So what I normally do is if I want to get these points exactly where I want the baseboards to be, I use these X and Y markers at the top here, or entry points I should say. Within these entry points, you can literally put in exactly where you wish each corner to be. So if I want this to be right in the corner, I would just put 0, 0, and then that would move that point right up into that top corner. Now if I wanted 3-foot boards, I would then move this to 36 inches, and I would move that to 0, and then that would make that top line straight and put that dead on 3 feet. We'll just do this for here, and we'll say we'll want the boards 2 feet wide, so we'll make these 24. Make that 0, and we'll actually make these 4 foot long, so we'll go for 48. So there you can see how easy it is just to make one simple baseboard. Now to duplicate that and make it into a set of baseboards that you have created, if you are using, for instance, 2 foot by 4 foot baseboards like this, and they're going to be the same all the way around, you can just control copy, which is Control C, and then if you move your mouse away from where you've been working and press Control V, it will then re-enter exactly the same baseboard where you want it to be. Now to move this one exactly next to this one so that these lines are marked up, you can select this corner, and up here it says move point or move surface. You can select move surface, select the X axis and put in exactly where the other board ends, and as you can see from here, it moves the board exactly where you need it to be. Good morning, crafting budgie mama. Can you not pull it to size like a browser or an RTF page? I'm not sure what you mean there by Flymo. So this layout, I'm going to construct it all out of these boards, so I'm just going to pop these in. I've got 3 there, yeah. So as you can see, I've popped these 2 in, but these aren't the right way round. Now there are 2 various ways you can move these. You can grab this little marker in the top here, and you can swirl them around as you wish. Excuse me. Or you can select it, you can right click, and then you can rotate it, and then there are buttons across the bottom here that give you exact degrees of movement so that you can move it an exact amount. So I'm going to move that 90 degrees, and I'm going to do the same to the other 4. Just move these roughly into place. They don't need to be exact because you can move them with the move surface tool afterwards. So I think I've messed up there. We'll get rid of that one, get rid of that one. This was how big it was supposed to be. So as you can see now, we've pretty much got our boards in place. They just need moving around. So we'll pop this one at 96. Pop this one. Yeah, I really haven't done my measurements very well here, have I? Bear me 1 second. Whoops. That's better. Right. So then we'll pop this one. 144, 28. No, 24. Get it right, Graham. I'll do the same with this one. I'll put this one 72, 0, 48, 72, 96, 72. So there you go. As you can see, we've now placed a few baseboards down. So now it's time to place some track down. So we'll zoom in on one board, and we'll start up on this board here, and we'll start with the fiddle yard, because that's probably the best and easiest ways to show how things work. So we'll put some pieces of flexi track down. So to use flexi track, you use these little crosshairs here. I'll zoom in a little bit closer so you can all see. So to move the end points, you move these round, and as you can see, there's these colours that become onto it, and there's this brown mark here. This brown mark here, or red mark, indicates that this section is longer than what a standard flexi track piece is normally pieces. These indicate the radius of the track. So when you're in your settings, you have these options up here to have minimum radius of 3 different types, so that when you're, so if I bring this out and I try and make those colours happen a little bit. Let's go out a bit. There we go, this is what I was trying to get at. So, this would be what this radius would be. This colour, which is yellow. This is what I think it's like an orangey colour, would be what your radius 2 is. And then anything under this one. So, this colour here is in between these two numbers. And this colour here is in between these two numbers. And this is underneath this number. So you can set these all up how exactly you want them to be. Now you can see that I've moved this track around, and it's not straight or anything like that, and it's got no particular ends. But if I want to make it straight again, all I would have to do is click the piece of track, come up here to this straight flex, click it, press OK, and it returns it back to a straight piece of track again. Now this might not be exactly straight or perpendicular to your boards or anything like that. Now to make sure it is like that, you can just select the end point here, make sure that you're on move track and not move end point, and you can see there that we're actually at an angle of 90.2 degrees, so we're not exactly at 90 degrees to everything else on the plan. So all you do is just type in 90 in there, and then it makes it straight for you. Thank you, Flyman. Hello, Chobberton Junction. Nice to see you. Yes, it is. This is for creating your layout in a virtual place, so that you can then possibly, if you wish, do what I've done behind me here, which is I've printed it all out in a 1-to-1 scale and placed it on my baseboards ready for the track laying. Just in case everyone's interested, the loco running in the background is 37671 trail pole and pen with a HM7000 decoder on it. In him, I should say. It's just running backwards and forwards on an ABC section, which doesn't seem to be wanting to work as well as it wants to sometimes. But there we go. Always happens when you press go live. So we'll get some tracks in here so we can build a little bit of a fiddle yard up. Now I'm not going to be worrying about too much about the length of these tracks. I'm actually going to delete them because I'm going to make these all one, and then I'll cut them at the baseboard joints, and then I'll normally cut them in the centre, and I'll show you why I do that in a moment. So we'll place these all roughly in place because they're not going to go. You're never going to get them exactly where you want. Now, depending on where you want your track spacing and how you want your track spacing to be, depends on where you wish these to be. So, obviously, you've got your 0 point across the top. When you select this, you don't have a choice of where you can move it to. But if you do select the end point, which we'll zoom in. If you select this end point, you can then move the end point, or you can move the piece of track. So if you want this, say for instance, you want it 6 inches off the end of the board, that's the wrong place. So say for instance, sorry, you wanted it 6 inches off the edge of the board, you would type 6 in there, and then that would move that to there. And then if you wanted this one to then be, say, 2 inches from that one, you would then put 8 in there, and that would move that down 2 inches, and you would go on, so on and so forth. So I'll just do this. Ten, 12, 14, 16, 18. So now that's put them all the right distance apart from each other, but maybe you wanted them all the same length as well. So then you would just take whatever this figure is, so I will make that 26 just to make things a bit easier. If anybody does have any questions while I'm doing all these things, do pop them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. Yep, definitely, because it's free. Apart from the paper and the ink for the printer, because that's not free, but what can you do about that? So, now we've got these tracks in, but obviously they're much longer than what a piece of flexi track is. So what we can do is we can just hover over our center point where the board joins are. If we right click, excuse me, and press cut flex here, that's now put a joint exactly over the baseboard. So we'll just do that with all these. And we'll do the same thing over here. Oh. Now you can see we've got these ones here, which they are still too big, so we'll cut these down the middle as well. So there we go. Now we have all of our flexi track in without having to mess about trying to move things around. We've just placed it in place and it's done and it's sorted, and we've now got a 7-track fiddle yard. I'm going to add another one in, and the way you can do that from there is if you decide that, oh, there isn't enough there, you just press Control Copy, Control V, and there we go, we've got another one, and it's exactly the same with all the same spacing. So then you just zoom in onto your endpoint of one end of it, move track, so we had it at 26, and we'll have this one at 4 inches from the edge of the baseboard. And there we go, we've ended up with an 8-track fiddle yard. So now when you're adding points, we'll add 2 of these. Now 9 times out of 10, place onto your surface, as you can tell from the way these have just come out, with their toe, is it? I think that's what it's called, of the point always being at 90 degrees to your plane, as it would be. Obviously, again, to rotate these, you just right click, rotate, and then you can rotate them to the direction that you wish to have them. So we'll just place a couple of these down. So you can sort of see where I'm going with this. These are going to probably come round a little bit more around about there, I think. And I'm just going to build a very simple 4-track main line with 2 fiddle yards for each track in the back of on the fiddle yard. That's all we're going to do. We're not going to do anything too crazy. So this one back a bit. These are nowhere near where they're actually going to be. These are just giving me ideas of where I need things to go. And I've got a camera in the way of that bit of the screen. Right. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep all the points on one board. I'm going to reduce these all. These are all going to come a bit smaller. So I'm going to take one of these pieces here, look, and I'm going to pop it down here, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And we'll pop it, yeah, about there. And we'll pop it over. So then we've got our 4 tracks. And we'll pop this, no, Control Z. This one might have to go on here actually. Yeah, that might work a bit better. And we'll just straighten this out. 1.26. And then we'll straighten that out. And then we'll do the same with this. We'll just pop that back there. So I'll pop these in here. Like this. Yeah, that does need to go over a bit. And as you can see, I'm not too fussed about the lengths of the flexi track, because as you saw before, you can adjust it as you wish. As you've just seen me doing there, if you do wish to disconnect a piece of track, you select it so it's highlighted in green, and then click this disconnect button at the top here. It will then disconnect it and you can move it away from wherever you were before. Oh, hello, Carl. Thanks for joining the stream. So we might bring these further out. As you can see, that works quite well. We might bring this further in. A bit more like that. We'll do the same with this one. Bring that in a bit. I'm going to get rid of that. I think so. I'll cut that there. Yep, there we go, look. And bring that in. Bring that down a bit. And we'll move these up a little bit. I'll just zoom out so we can get this. I'll disconnect these from here because this will be a bit easier. And then we can highlight these and just move these up to about there, I think. Pop them on there. Now you see that's gone off there. Obviously I need to zoom out to be able to get this marker here to be able to pull that back in a bit. Now as you can see, to keep that track in there, that's it's a bit too narrow, tighter curve for what I would like, to be honest, on there. So what you can do, disconnect this, probably pull this in a little bit. We'll move that out of the way so it doesn't connect up to it. So if we just bring this in a little bit, I'm sure we can move this in and arrange that a little bit better, and that looks much better. And we can bring that up there, bring that up there, and this one down a bit. I need to get out to get that one, bring that one down a bit. And there we go, as you can see. So now if I disconnect these two connections in the center here, these two that I've just done here, I can now select these two and straighten them. But I don't think that's quite straight, so we'll take this and we'll go 90 there, so that makes that nice and straight. And do that again because that was the whole piece. Move connection to 90, then we'll take this and we'll straighten it, and then we can pop that on the end, and we'll do exactly the same thing here. We'll move that connection to there, we'll say move connection to 90, we'll straight that flex, and then we can just pop that on there. And there you can see we've got one in, and then it's a matter of, once you've got the one in, it can be a lot easier to get the next ones in, because you've already got a lot of the basis in for your curves and all the rest of it. So you can move these up to roughly where you think they're going to be. And then if you take one of these and copy them, you can roughly see where we're not far away from where we need to be. So if we pop that without connecting, just there, and then we'll pop that on there. And move it down a bit, move that up a bit. There we go. If we just delete that one, and there we go, we've got the next one in. And we'll do the same thing, pop that on there, pop that there, and bring that around to there. Disconnect that from there, pop it on there, delete that, and then we just do the same thing over and over again until we've got everything roughly where we want it to be. Now obviously this isn't perfect by any shape of the imagination. It is a very rough drawing. I wouldn't expect anybody to use this track plan, because no doubt you'll probably get derailments from it and stuff like that. I'm just showing you roughly how to use the program more than anything else. Now, I don't think I'm going to get, because you can see all these are coming down to one point. Now as you can see, they're not all connected, so you can actually move each individual one to where you wish it to be. So that's that one. So I want that one there, that one there, and that one there, really, roughly. So if we cut flex around here, I think, and the same around here. Pull this one out a little bit, move that down, make that a little bit more straight. I'll cut this one here, make sure this is on the baseboard. We want that to be 180, and we want that to be straight. There we go. So the same there. We want that to be 180, and then we want that to be straight. Same here. And as you can see, we've now sort of built up our curve round. I think this one's going to have to be around here somewhere, I think. Yeah. Oh. Zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm doing a bit more. So there we go. So that's, I'll just cut these here so they're right, and they don't look a bit weird. So there we go, you can see now you've got quite easily a 4-track main line. that goes into 2 tracks on each storage line. Now these storage lines are obviously quite long, so you could probably store 2 or 3 trains in each one. But that hopefully gives you a good idea of how to use the program, what you need to do to build a half decent track plan. Now there are other things you can do with it. You can go a lot further than that. There is a lot of things that the community have uploaded themselves, which is this part here, which is the user objects. This might not be populated when you first download it. You have to click on this item up here which says click download new items. Once you click on that, it brings up this thing and it starts going through all them. I've already downloaded them. There's 2,754 items that have been uploaded by various people. There isn't much in OO. There's a little bit, but there's not huge amounts. You know, so you can click on these and it will bring them up over on here. So for instance, you've got an engine shed, you've got a 6-wheel milk tanker if you want to see the size of that on the track. You've got a footbridge there. You know, there's various different things, coal office, thatched cottage. There's a various different number of things that are available through there. To show you what I've been working on, this is my current layout that I'm working on at the minute. It's going to be called Highfield TMD. The idea is that we're going to have fuel trains arriving in the rear, in this area here. And then lorries arriving for fuel deliveries, small lorries, not like articulated or anything like that, sort of like the small tanker lorries and stuff like that. They'll be arriving here to be loaded from the fuel delivery or oil delivery. I'm not exactly sure which one it's going to be yet. Then we're going to have a small little maintenance depot over here and a main engine shed in this corner. And a fueling depot and other bits and pieces around as it's going on. These green areas and things like that I've just used the insert add surface tool, the same as all these with the fuel tanks and stuff like that. I've just added circles, infilled them with different colours. These items are available from the object libraries. So when you go into the object libraries, you have sort of like general scenery and stuff like that. So you can go into OO here, get in some signals if you wish. And there's a few bits of Horny Scaledale platform if you need them. There is a ruler option if you need it, so you can add a ruler and then choose to how long you want it, if you want it to be. If you want to change the length of it completely and actually have it as a set size, then you can just type in the number at the top here where it says length, and you can have it as a set scale as well. So for instance, if you wanted OO gauge, that gives you what the scale of 176/5 is. So if you want to know what 10, and that shows you what that is. So it just gives you a good idea of, you know, what scale could be at the size as well. So that it's really handy, that is, especially if you're building to scale for something. You're building a specific track plan of a specific place, then that can help. Now compared to the other ones, you can see here I've got sleepers showing rather than it being the actual set, the track pieces. To do that is just in the show tab here. You can choose centerline, so it just gives you a line where you wish the track to be. You can have track, so it shows you the pieces and gives you a bit more explanation about what each piece does. Or you can have the sleepers like I do, and it just makes it look a little bit more nicer for me, to be honest. Has anybody got any questions at all? Oh, hello Ryan. How we doing? I'll have a quick look through the chat, see if... So yeah, Sodor, that's a very good point. I'll show you that. So if you want to, you know, like, this is a very good point about this. So if you're planning a layout and you want to buy every individual part for that particular layout, new for instance, or something like that, then you can come up to here in this section at the top, and you can select on list of materials. Now this will show you a list of every single material that is in your layout. All these ones at the top are the objects, so these are like my general scenery, my shrubs, my trees, all that sort of stuff, the engine shed, the pump house, all those sort of bits and pieces. Then you can come down here, this gives you your track lengths. So here I've got 600 inches in total, in code 75 Flexi 100. There's then, for some reason I've chose concrete turnouts. Why I've done that I don't know, but there we go. But then we've obviously got your double slips, and this gives you the lengths of each of those individual things in total. Then gives you your track length. But right at the very top here, it gives you exactly how many units you're going to need. Now if you're using FlexiTrack, for instance, like I was doing on that other one, this tells me I need 32 lengths of FlexiTrack, but I only need a minimum units of 17. So that means I only actually need 17 full lengths of FlexiTrack, but I need to cut them into 32 pieces. Then it gives you your how many points I've got. So I've got my right hand turnouts, my double slips, my left hand turnouts, and my three ways. Everyone likes a three-way, don't they? But so yeah, so then and it even breaks it down into your buildings, what buildings you've got on there, and so on and so forth. So, and this is a great way of like seeing what you need to get. Another great thing about this is, I'm not sure if you can see from behind me, but on my track plan it is literally just my track, nothing else, none of the scenery stuff, none of the roads or anything like that. And the reason for that being is because I've got it in layers. And I'll show you this now, which is these pieces over here. So as you're building your layout, you can build it into layers. So I've got mine set as ground cover, which turns the background off. So as you can see on this particular one, I haven't used baseboards for the surfaces because I've created my workspace as the size of what my baseboards are going to be. I've put these dotted lines across. These are where my cross members are. This is where my baseboard join is. I've done that so then I can see to make sure that I'm not putting any of my points over the top of my joins or my cross members on my baseboards. So then we'll just delete this because we don't need that. So then I have my track layer, so I can, if we sit on the fencing layer, because the fencing layer is just these orange lines. And you can't hide a layer that you are currently active on. So for instance, I'm currently active on the fencing layer. I can't turn that layer off and not see it. So if I turn the track off, all the track disappears. If I turn my measurement layer on, all my little measurements, all my markings, all those sort of things, they all disappear. Obviously I've got the buildings, I've got ground cover, I've got the road, I've got the scenics, and then obviously the fencing and the buildings. So, excuse me. So, drink of choice today is Fanta Lemon. I'll have a look through the chat, see if there are any questions. Hello Newland Mayoboy. How are we doing this morning? No, I think we're good. So I think I'm going to end it there. I think it was just a quick one. I just wanted to show everybody how it works, and if there was any questions really, and we'll call it quits from there. Thank you very much for everyone for joining, and we'll catch you next time. Cheerio. Tasha asked a question about the trains. Is that a slip diamond, Graham? 2 foot from the left. You mean this one here, Flymo? Yes, I have, Flymo. 2 seconds. That's where you can get it from. You just click this button here, and it will bring up the folder to download it. I'm not going to download because I've already got it. There's no reason for me to do it. That's the question about this. Once you are done on there, how do you get them as tracks? As in, how do I print them out and get them the same size? Right, okay. We go into here. So this is the file piece. You can come up to print. So I'll go back to the layers because we'll start with that. So from here, from the layers, if you unhide, so we'll highlight tracks. So then you are left with just this. So when you build it, now what you can do is, if you want to move things from layer to layer, so you can build everything on one layer like I was previously, which is how I do it. And then what you can do is you can then go through and, holding the control button on your keyboard, you can highlight pieces like this, or you can highlight pieces like this, and then once you have a piece selected like this, you can actually change what layer it is here. But you can only select another layer once the layer has been created from the layers tab. So to add a layer, you click on this button up here, add a layer, and it will add a layer. Once you've then obviously got just this piece, so you've just got your track marked out, and the reason I do this is because it saves on ink and it saves on paper. Well, I wouldn't say paper, but it saves on ink, because you're not printing out all those colours, you're just printing black and white. That's all you really need. So then you go onto the print tab here, and you've got this ratio print scale down here, and you can see I've already got it set as 1:1. So then when you go through all these pages, now you'll see these first few pages have got nothing on because the top part of my layout is just scenic, so there's nothing there, so it won't actually print those pages, because I'll show you how in a minute. So then you can see here is each page as it will be printed out, and you can double check to make sure that everything is as it should be. Now as you can see, we have numbers down the bottom here. You've got the date it was printed, or will be printed if you were to print it at that present time, the name of the file that you are printing, and then there's these numbers here, which is 4 out of 8, as you can see here. Now you see as I go up, they change. This is 4 out of 1, 3 out of 7, 3 out of 2, and just about see that says 2 out of 8. Now the idea is that this is the column, the column and line that each page is relevant to. So this is page 1, row 1, column 9, I should say. So then, now to get rid of all these empty pages, you can click this suppress empty pages, and sometimes it will work. I can't guarantee it will work every time because it hasn't for me. So what I normally do is I just select the pages I want to be printed. So for instance, on this particular layout, I know that the first 9 pages are just empty. My actual layout, well, first 10 pages, sorry, 11 pages as it turns out to be. My layout doesn't start, as you can see there, doesn't actually start till page 12. So then what I would type in here is that I would just type in where it says 12 out of 44, I would type 12-44, and then all it will do is print pages 12 to 44. I wouldn't have thought so. It's because it's Chrome OS, isn't it, Dan? So I wouldn't have thought it would work on the Chromebook, unfortunately. No worries, Choburton. What got me into trains? My dad, really, I would say, is what got me into trains. Me and him used to go to a model railway club when I was younger, down in Ipswich, and yeah, just reminiscing times of when I used to build a layout with him in his room. Yeah, that does end up happening, Newland. That's okay. It's not a problem. Is there any more questions that I have missed? If you have put it in the chat and I haven't read it because the chat's not right next to me when I'm looking at this screen, unfortunately. That is a problem, Dan, unfortunately. That is a problem. Oh, excuse me. Shall we see if this is going to work? Should we give you a... No, it's going the wrong way. As normal. Works perfectly all day. I've heard of that X-Track CAD, but I've never used it. I've only ever used ANYRAIL. I found it the easiest one out there. I did try, is it Scam or Scam or what? Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. I have tried that before, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was that good, or it was probably too complicated for me at that present moment in time. I've used other CAD softwares now, so I could probably get on better with it now than what I could do back then. This is a lot easier for somebody that hasn't got any sort of computer aided design previous or anything like that. But what's going backwards and forwards on the screen right now, eventually there's the bullhead track on the left hand side of the screen. That will eventually be an automated section, fully scenic, up to pretty much where the keyboard is. Then what you can see behind me here is what is going to be what I've just showed you on the plan. We'll go back to this 2 seconds. So yeah, so what you can see here is what is going to be on this boards. There is going to be a fiddle yard on the end of this. I haven't designed that yet. This is just the scenic section that I've done so far. We'll go back to the loco. What's this? So yeah, this 37 is a Bachmann, I want to say. But it has the, look, there we go, look, it's going the wrong way. Why is it going the wrong way? It's been sat there going backwards and forwards happily, and now it's going the wrong way. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned about yours yet, Jake. I'm sure it is. Yeah, it is. I just don't think it's quite lined up, but it's definitely on the track. See? Now it's going the wrong way again. I don't know. But anyway, guys. Oh, I thought you might be able to see it better there, but you can't. But there's a good little view of the 37. See if it goes the right way this time. Is it going to stop? Now is it going to turn itself round and go the other way? Oh, hello Mav. Welcome to the stream. I'll show it. 1 second. It's doing it again. It can go away. This one. So yeah, has anybody got any more questions about ANYRAIL at all? Mav, have you got any questions? Yes, it does, Flomo. Yes, I'm on Windows 10 right now. My computer's not new enough to run Windows 11 yet. Broke the illusion. Multi-layered, as in you want to work out how to do a multi-layered one on ANYRAIL, Mav? Is that what you want to... I can help with that. Ooh, ouch. Like my PC's no slouch, right? It really isn't no slouch, but yet it's not good enough for Windows 11. Yeah, he's good. He is good. I'm no layout designer at all. That's not what I advertise myself as. Not at all. I'm a bit of a tech buff, I would say. I know a fair bit about electronics. I'm an amateur radio enthusiast, full license holder, so I know a lot about electronics and stuff like that. So that's the thing that interests me about model railways the most. Yes, it does. So we'll go back to where we were, onto this one. We'll go here. So if you want to change the height of things, so let's say we'll select, yeah, this one. So we'll select this piece of track, and you see there's this option here where it says set height. If I put this at 4, now this goes in the same measurement that everything else goes at. So if you put 4, it's 4 inches high. So if I make that 4 inches high, and I also make this one 4 inches high, and I'm going to pop into show, and I'm going to turn on height and vertical clearances and slope percentages. Now that's all on this center section here. That you can turn those on. Now these are the things that they'll give you the over the top. I'll zoom in a second and show you. So we'll go back to home. So now as you can see, this is now 4 inches, and there is a 16%, which is a canny old incline from both those pieces of track up to this 4-inch section here. Now if you want this and this to be a nice smooth slope all the way down to that point, which is at the other end of these baseboards here, you can select, can't do them both at the same time, but you can select this, this, this and this, and there's an option here that says smooth slope. Now when you click on that, as you can see, it will take this point here and this point here, and it will smooth the slope all the way across the whole length of track that you've selected. And now you can see it's now made it a gradient of 4.2%. Now I can show you that, which is something I should have showed you a little bit earlier on, but you can go into a 3D view of this. So when you click on this, it brings up this 3D model, and as you'll see as I move round, you can see the difference between the two slopes that we've just done there. So there's the 4% one that goes up 4 inches, and then there's the 16% one that goes up 4 inches, but as you can see, very, very quickly. Does that answer? I would say maybe 20 mil less Flymo. Maybe. It really depends on what you're running, I think. 100 mil is probably what, if you want to go like, it's everything will get through it, 100 mil will be the one to go for, I would have thought. But I've seen plans and heard of plans that have done 80 and got away with it, so it just depends. It just depends. Really is up to your discretion, really. Helixes are also available within this software. So if we go back to the 2D design, so if you're in this 3D view, sorry, I should have shown you that a bit quicker than that, a bit easier than that. So if you're in this 3D design, you can click on this little 2D design review button, it will take you straight back to your track plan. So you can make helixes in this as well. So we'll take a piece of flexi track. You then curve your flex, so you want an angle of 90 degrees. So this is a corner of your, and then you want your radius, and this will be whatever your radius of your helix is going to be. I think we'll say 20 inches. And then you can come here and you can click on this button that says create helix. And then what it will do is it will give you exactly what you want. So if you start point your height, so if you want your start to be at the top rather than the bottom, then you would start with your higher number at your start point and your lower number at your end point. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Bear with 1 second, please, guys. There we go. We're back. Phone died, as normal. So yeah, sorry. As we were saying, so if you want your, if you want the start of your helix to be at the top, then you would put your higher number in your start point and your lower number in your end point, and vice versa if you wanted it the other way around. Your number of loops is how many times you wish it to go round before it reaches that top point. Now, it doesn't really take into consideration your height between each thing, but it does give you an output of it. So you can change these numbers to varied on what you want it to be. And I would always recommend your loops to be 1 point or 0.5, whatever it's going to be, because then you're going back out the same way you come in. And I'll show you what I mean. So if we say we have a start point of 20, just as a random number, and we'll have an end point of 0. This gives us a slope percentage of 15.9% if we do it in one loop, and a height per turn of 20 inches. Now if we do this in 5, didn't mean to do that. then that gives us 1 inch per height, but that's not enough, so we need it in 10. But then that gives us a 1.6, 2 inches per turn, but that's going to bring us back out the same way we're going in, and I'll show you what I mean. So we've gone in like that, we'll pop this in the middle like that, and we'll go to the 3D view because this will show us what I'm on about. So we'll turn off the ground so we can just see the tracks. Now as you can see, you're entering the bottom of the helix here and you're exiting the same side. Most people that are going to use a helix don't want that. They want to be able to go back out the same way as they came in at the bottom. So if you're coming in that way, you want to be able to come out the top that way, so you're going back out onto the layout you've just come from. So that's why when you go back into this and you create this, you want this number to always have 0.5 on the end of it. So if we're starting at 20 and we're ending at 0, we would probably want 9.5 turns, and then that would give us a 1.7% raise. So then if we then bring that up and we go into the 3D view, now you can see we enter at the bottom on this side and we go back out on the top on this side. So we're now, with the layout, one side of the helix, you're entering and exiting on the same side of the helix. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope. Yeah, no worries, Mav. To be honest, the main part of this was to try and get the information out there. That I've done a video many times, many years ago, and everybody's liked the video and thought it was good. So I thought, well, I'll just do a live stream about it this time, so that people can ask me questions about whatever they want to know about it, and I'll do my best to help out. So yeah, but right, I've been going for an hour now, so we'll call it quits there. I think I've pretty much covered most things that we need to cover. I'll go back to here. If there is anything that anybody else thinks, yeah, it's had a few views. Flymo. It's one of my top performing videos. Well, not top performing, my most viewed video. Sorry, I should say. It's my most viewed video. So yeah. But if anybody does want to watch it, it does give you the very basics. You're more than welcome to go and drop a watch on it. But yeah, thank you very much for joining, guys. We'll